Lobo Small 85-57. We have Lobo freshman Emmanuel Quach, Lobo special assistant Craig Snow, Coach Snow. Speak about the wonderful effort you got from your bench here tonight. I thought Jordan Arroyo was fantastic. And this guy, Emmanuel Quach, 3 offensive rebounds of his own. I believe Arroyo finished with 5 or 6 on the offensive end. They were outstanding.
Yeah, I think, really pleased with their effort and just them, all of our guys, just from a standpoint of, obviously, we're still figuring some things out position-wise and where to put guys, and everybody has to step up and do a little bit more. And, we're not very happy with the result, but, on the positive side, Jordan Arroyo was tremendous. He had a lot of offensive rebounds. He was really positive inside. He gave us a physical presence. Defensively, I thought he did some things. Emmanuel came in and had some big finishes around the rim. And he's going to be really good. We were talking about it on the bench. It's more just a matter of attention to detail and doing the little things. And he needs game experience. Like some of those mistakes, like closing out to Wetzel, who's made 5 threes all year, and he got off his feet a little bit, allowed to drive, but those are things that he'll learn, and you can really only learn that with game experience. And so as far as that goes, I thought Clay Patterson was good too. We talked about getting him in early just to see if we can get a little spark, and all those guys that haven't seen hardly any action all year, I thought they gave the best effort they could have.
Emmanuel, you played like almost 13 minutes, probably the most you've played all year, against a top-ranked team, 4th in the country. Were you nervous when you first started?
Yeah, I was nervous when I first started, but at the end of the day, it's just a basketball game, and they're just normal people like I am, so I just got to go out and play hard.
Exactly, and I noticed that you really had brought the effort, especially in the second half. Mm-hmm. And when you were matched up against the other freshman, Kashad Johnson, you guys were going at it. I saw you down low.
Yeah, I know him pretty well.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys looking at your stats and looking at his stats. You're a freshman. He's a freshman.
Yeah.
Right?
Stats like almost identical.
Yeah, you could do this.
Yeah.
It didn't appear that it was going to be that when it started. Zane got into the key, and then he kind of started to lose his balance, and 2 guys ran at him. Did you expect a lob coming?
Yeah, because I always tell the team, like, every time you're going up, I'm cutting to the basket so you can just throw it anywhere around the basket and I'll get it.
He certainly can.
Yeah.
We know he's an athlete, Coach Snow. He's right-handed. He reached behind his head with his left hand and pulled that back and threw it down. The future, this is a spectacular athlete we're looking at.
No, there's no question. And I think that's, the one thing is if there's any silver lining in any of these games, is that some younger guys that weren't getting any time earlier are getting a chance right now against good teams and good competition to just get that valuable experience under the belt, because he is going to be a big-time player for us down the road. And I thought you're right. He made those plays, and now it's just the next step for Emmanuel is going to be let's be locked in, because the one thing that I think is always difficult for bench players, you never really know when your name's going to get called. And, E-Man, it wasn't like – he was probably aware he was going to play 13 minutes tonight, but we knew we were going to get him out there and see what he could do. And, and he rose to the occasion. So, pleased with his effort, and hopefully we can just one small step forward, and then, as the season goes on, we can continue to take those small steps.
Well, I tell you, the part of his game, which is above the rim, you can't coach.
You're absolutely right.
But the other parts
we can coach,
and he can get better at those, right?
You're absolutely right about that.
Where do you feel like the development will come most, E-Man, as you improve? Where are the areas that these coaches and your mentors among your teammates that they're helping you with? What are the things that you're going to be improving?
My defense, mostly. The way to create for other players, and my jump shot. Yeah, those are the key areas.
How scary will be if he can knock down that jump shot? Wow.
Well, he can. He absolutely can. On the year – I think that was one of his few misses, actually. At one point this season, I think he was 3 for 4, and he can make that open shot. And, we've always seen that in E-Man, and, it's just we just need to get these minutes under his belt, and just eventually it'll take off.
We talked about this because, the demands on these guys, just people have no idea. And he had a class today. So when you guys shot around, he wasn't here at the start. He got another sort of complete second run-through of the game plan when he got here, right?
Yes.
And a lot of that is what you were talking about with that closeout, right? It's just understanding personnel and, who does what. And he's going to know down the road not to run it that big, who's standing on the three-point line.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness, a lot of times you have to fail in order to learn that. I mean, that'll be the part of his individual cut tomorrow. Will be like, hey, these are some things that we did positive, and here's an area of growth. And it's recognizing a scout and recognizing a scouting report, and that's where these guys learn over time, just the attention to detail. And then, just to tip your hat to San Diego State, I mean, their half-court defense did not let up the entire game. They play with such enthusiasm on that end of the floor, and for our freshmen to see that firsthand, can only be, good and beneficial for them moving forward.
And learn something. Yeah. No, it was a tough loss, but I think the fans appreciated your effort, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
How did it feel overall?
It felt good, but we were losing, so it's like I just got to play hard and fight it through.
Well, the future is bright, man, and we appreciate you coming down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Emmanuel Quach, Coach Snow, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Lobos Special Assistant Craig Snow. Lobos fall 85-57 to San Diego State here in Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit. We take a timeout. Back courtside at Albertsons Radio Row after this pause. You listen to Lobo Basketball on the UNM Sports Radio Network. For visit GoLobos.com. Lobos drop an 85-57 decision to San Diego State. Our guest postgame is Lobo head coach Paul Weir. Coach Weir, it's just a one moment, but I feel like if that transition layup by Vontae Hendricks goes in at the beginning of the game there and the team gets to exhale a little bit, I don't know if that 17-0 thing happens at the start of the game. I don't know what you saw there, but it just felt like that would have released the tension.
Yeah, the first two timeouts, we obviously called the one and then had the next media. I just thought we rushed so many shots around the rim early. That was one of them, and we talked about they don't really have that kind of a shot blocking interior presence for. It's not Neemias Queta, it's not a person that really alters the stuff you do. And we did. We rushed a lot around in there. It wasn't just him. We had two or three others where, they're not the greatest looks. I mean, San Diego State's obviously a very good defensive team, but good looks that I thought we hopefully could have done a better job finishing and executing. And I don't know if it was the nerves of the game. I don't know if it was just the lack of maybe experience of some guys or whatever it might be. But, San Diego State came out with just a laser focus, and we unfortunately just didn't quite have that same, maturity or just experience to, execute the way that they did.
Coach, initially, when the three wasn't falling, and, did you adjust or did you just tell the team, look, let's just penetrate?
Well, that was the goal going in is trying to get the ball to Corey Manigault. I mean, he's a very good player down there. We thought we could also post up McQuatch a little bit and get the ball inside, and then obviously anything we can do where you can get Zane downhill. And unfortunately, we just when you're 1 for 10 for 3 at the half, we needed to get to even a 3 or 4 for 10, and they were 10 for 20, and it was just you're going nine threes the other way. It's just when the margin going in is already where it's at, you have to play almost a perfect basketball game, and we played anything but that.
And again, it seems like we've talked about it too often, but it's not their best guy that's banging the threes.
No
it's
question.
a 33% shooter in Fagan who just lost his mind in the first half.
Yeah, and we've talked about that coming in these timeouts. Hey, you're doing the job. We were containing Flynn, and that was a goal going in. Let's contain Flynn and contain certain guys and make other level players beat you. And when you have a 20-whatever-0 team like they do, they obviously have other weapons. And I thought to start the game, Mitchell and Fagan were just exceptional. And we went in percentage-wise saying, let's get Flynn and Shackle off the line, and we did. And to put those kind of other three-point shooters on the court obviously makes them a really hard guard.
There were a couple of moments, I don't know if it's a communication thing or because of how important it is and the emphasis that's been placed on it, and you've got so many guys going to the glass, but I can think of 3 occasions we had 2 and 3 Lobos fighting for a loose ball rebound, and the ball ends up out of bounds. It's hard to have a guy back off, but the possessions were so important tonight. Those were crushing.
They were trying. It's I think sometimes when you're a little overwhelmed and things are going a little quick, and it's just a little much, and a lot of those just kind of bobbled out of our hands a little bit. And I wish it was just then. It happened at Nevada, like it's happened in games a lot recently. It's a loose ball that we can't quite grab, or a long. It was just unfortunately, it's an experience thing. It's a confidence thing, and right now we just unfortunately don't seem to have a ton of that.
I wanted to ask a follow-up question about the decision to suspend Jaquan Lyle for 2 games, and just take the Lobo fans kind of through the thought process and deciding on that decision.
Yeah, I haven't had a ton of time to think exactly how I was going to talk about it. I just talked to the press upstairs about some more like bigger picture things. It's something that, quite frankly, I still don't have a lot of information about. We have not been given any official documentation. I'm going off of just conversations that we've had. I don't know the depth and the details of exactly what happened. I know the things that I've heard, but none of that's really verifiable based on what I know and where it's at and the things I was disappointed in. From a basketball team perspective, nothing to do with anyone or anything else. It was obviously something I really wish didn't happen, and something that I felt warranted a suspension.
And I'm sure you've seen Jaquan's post that he put out on social media, and you're happy with his response or reaction after the fact to maybe a poor choice.
Yeah, I think we'll see that obviously in the coming days and weeks. There's a lot of opportunities for us in life to learn from, and I'm hopeful that will be one of those. This obviously just happened, and we'll see how the rest of his season and journey in life goes. And hopefully we can look back on it and say, hey, man, everything happens for a reason, and that happened for this particular reason.
I know there's an open date midweek next week. So it just the feeling of it it looks like Vance might return next weekend. But is there any chance you could see Vance play this weekend?
I don't know. It's swelling in a knee, and Hunter might know more than I do. He played a lot of basketball. I don't. You just don't know. Sometimes, like Jaquan had the same thing, and a few days later, he's all the way back. Vance had something similar. It's been 4 weeks. Every body's a little different. Every bruise is different, how you land on it, and then the recovery process, I wish it was very systematic. It's not a broken bone or something that's like, you can have a good framework of how long it takes. It's just swelling in a knee on a really big guy, and it just hasn't gone down to the point where he or I feel comfortable to even put him in practice. And until he's practicing, it'll be hard to get him back on the court.
How do you continue to keep a shorthanded team positive and continuing to work and feeling good about itself?
That's a tremendous question, and one that we're going to really work on. I don't want them to feel that, I think we talked about it after last game, that this is on them. They're trying in their own way. The errors we're making are on ball screen coverages with, Jordan and E-Man, and they haven't had the reps all year. They've been on the sidelines while everybody else did shell drill and everyone else got to do things, and the guys that are stepping in now just don't have the repetitions at this stuff offensively and defensively to reliably go out and execute against a team of this caliber right now. So we just have to keep practicing, keep working, keep them positive, and just stay on the grind, see where the rest of the season can take us.
To follow up on that as a final thought, then, given that you have a Fresno State team on the road on Saturday, because of trying to get those guys reps and get them reps together, we'd be right back on the practice court with a full practice tomorrow.
We have been, and we've practiced well. I thought Monday and Tuesday's practice we put the bubble up, and we practiced, and we rebound, and we defended, and we were active and aggressive and competitive. It's a lot of time to make up in the middle of January to get kids who have not played very many minutes and not practiced against the top 5 or the next 5, and to get them caught up right now is hard. We're trying. We'll keep chipping away at it and hope to get there. We, again, took good care of the basketball, which I'm happy with. We did an okay job on the glass. They had 10 offensive rebounds, which is much better than the 15 or the 16 we had previously. We're doing some things as a coaching staff that we're trying to emphasize. Unfortunately, you can't always. Sometimes there is a talent that comes down with the shot going in or not at both ends of the floor, and we just got to keep working through that.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you to offer a comment about your bench, because we talked about it with your special assistant, Coach Snow. We had Emmanuel Quach before you joined us. Quach's minutes were outstanding. Arroyo gave you great minutes. I love some of the things that Vic Scheider did, coming off the ball screen and getting into the key. Clay Patterson offered a couple of good minutes. Please, the bench, given the circumstances and the enormity of playing the fourth best team in the nation.
Yeah,
they
I just told them that after the game. We watched film after the UNLV game, and we watched film actually after our Nevada game, where quite frankly in the last couple minutes of the game we just said it's over, what's the point anymore? And we learned from that. Like, it might not be the greatest lesson, it might not be the greatest moral victory to take home, but at least we did that tonight. At least we said the game is over with 30-point game with 30 minutes left, and we said, you know what, we're going to keep fighting for the last few minutes regardless. That's an important lesson to learn in life. You know, it's not always going to be a winnable. It's not always going to be you have the last shot to win the game. Sometimes the game is over with 2 minutes to go, and the only thing you can do is just play it out as hard and as best you can, and we haven't done that this year. Usually when we get pop like that, we're done. We cash it in and 20 goes to 30 or whatever it happens to be, and we learned that lesson. I thought the guys that came in were terrific and just played hard. Obviously San Diego State made some shots as well late, but I just thought overall the energy was we're going to keep fighting through the last possession.
All right, good luck with the preparation, and we look forward to being with you in Fresno.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Lobo head coach Paul Ware, our guest. New Mexico falls 85-57 to visiting San Diego State. The Lobos have Fresno State coming up on the road. It is Saturday this weekend. New Mexico will be at the Bulldogs on February 1st. It is a 3 p.m. Mountain Time tip-off against Fresno State on the road on Saturday. Our airtime is 2:30 with the Lobo basketball pregame show. And if there is a positive to take out of an 85-57 loss, it's that those opportunities for the bench have increased because the team is shorthanded, and you can see that there's potential, and you can see progress too.
No, well, teachable moments for the young freshmen that get a chance to play, and because it's you can't, some of those things you just can't teach in practice. They've got to get out there and get on the court. Playing time, real time, and that was the positive, and we saw that with Emmanuel as a freshman, playing his heart out.
Against the better teams in the league, if the Lobos are going to continue to have to face them shorthanded, the start of the game, just getting off to a better start. These last two against really good Nevada on the road, and obviously fourth-ranked San Diego. How do you weather that early storm?
You are playing with basically your second string,
right?
And so you've got the things you can control, like defense and rebounding. The effort there is the focus. You have to focus on those two areas and try to keep the game competitive, and that's really the only thing I think they can do right now. Shooting the ball, I mean, that was one of the things they had to do this evening was shoot from the outside, shoot it well, and they just weren't able to do that. You can't control whether or not that's going to go in. I mean, one night they may knock them down, and the other they don't. So you've got to work on those things you can control, and that's defense and rebounding.
Well, two streaks were part of the storyline tonight, Hunter. The Lobos' Mountain West era record streak of 13 straight home wins to start a season comes to an end. San Diego State's best season opening streak and best winning streak in program history, that's 99 years, is now at 22. They look like they're the real deal.
No question. I mean, they're very efficient. I think they all have a pretty high IQ of the game, and it was just, amazing to watch them play at such a high level.
Somehow, some way, even shorthanded, Lobos have to figure out a way to guard the three-point line a little bit better, because the numbers again tonight, 15 out of 33 from three. And San Diego State would likely win the basketball game if they don't shoot nearly 50% from three. Mm-hmm. But that is a theme that has continued throughout much of the year.
Any team, I think we've seen this, any team that makes 15, 17, 19 threes, it's very difficult to compete. It really is. I mean, it's just you're exchanging twos for threes, and the math, and I'm not a math major, but that
don't have to be one there. Yeah, 45.5% from three for San Diego State tonight. Okay, our producer and engineer is Mike Vitale, on-site engineer Michael Carlisle, my broadcast partner is Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portner. That'll do it for us for tonight. Remember, Lobos and Fresno State from Fresno, Saturday this weekend, Feb 1, airtime 2:30, tip 3 o'clock. Those are Mountain Time on the UNM Sports Radio Network. The Lobos fall to 16-7 and 5-5 in league. San Diego State, a program best, 22-0. They are 11-0 in conference play. The fourth-ranked Aztecs a winner. Your final score for the final time tonight: San Diego State 85, the Lobos 57. We'll talk to you on Saturday from Fresno. Good night, everybody. You've been listening to Lobo Basketball on the UNM Sports Radio Network.